Hey there, Troy Brown here, back again with another video on how to get better leg development in your 30s, 40s and 50s and 60s. Does that sound like a good idea? Sure does, yes or yes. So what we're gonna do today is show you a great exercise that I think is a happy medium for people that have squatting issues. So for me, I'm 5'6". I have no issues squatting. I'm perfectly designed to squat well, and that's how I've been able to build legs when I was competing. But for a lot of people that are taller, you have longer levers, longer legs, longer torso. So right there, you're already at a disadvantage. So what I find is a really good movement for you to really help prime your squat is a goblet squat. In the beginning, you might not be able to lift any weight, but don't worry. So we're looking at mechanics here. There is some modifications that you can do that will really help you maintain an upright position, because that's what you're looking for when you squat. So I'm a big fan of the goblet squat because it's safe. It allows the clients to have stability of the hips again. It also allows you to have a lot of core activation, so you're really bracing your core and you're really focusing in again on time under tension and really locking your mindset on every single rep that you do. We're not focusing on 1 or 2 reps, we're focused on every rep, regardless of the weight. You could have 10 pounds in your hand, you're still gonna make those reps count. And as I always say, you can make a lightweight feel heavy. How? By slowing it down and using your brain as you train, using your mind as you train, so that way, as we always say, the old adage, right? Put the mind into the muscle, but that concept is very overrated. A lot of people don't understand it. So I'm gonna break it down for you, but I believe this exercise can still build a lot of leg size for men in their 30s and also in your 40s as well. So check it out. So before I actually go into the weight, I wanna look at somebody if they can squat first. So if you're a taller guy and you have longer levers, you're already at disadvantage. So what I'm looking for here is just for you to squatting out of a chair. So let's mimic that. We're gonna hold the plate or the dumbbell on our chest here. And all we're gonna do is sit in and out of the chair. So whatever bends first or whatever moves first in the body, could be your knees, could be your glutes. If your knees move first, that's a bad advantage. That's a disadvantage that you're putting your body in. So we want to be able to allow our hips to move first. Remember, this is more of a hip dominant exercise. So another thing you want to do, people ask me all the time, what's the best foot position for squatting? I don't know. But what I do know with this, what you can do is jump in the air. This is a kind of a weird exercise, but all I want you to do, this will help you figure out where to have your feet, okay? So all you're gonna do, just randomly jump in the air, and wherever you land is where you're gonna squat. So what's that? Hip width with a little bit of flirtation of the toe. So that's probably a good standard for me. This is actually prime for me. This is what I've done over the last 26 years for squatting. All right, so we're gonna hold that position, and all we're gonna do is mimic the goblet squat, grab the dumbbell on our chest. The glutes are gonna activate first. The glutes are gonna go backwards. That's the first thing that's gonna initiate. So 3 things I wanna think about in my mind. Set up, stability, initiate. 3 seconds eccentric. 1, 2, 3, up. Glutes, 1, 2, 3, while bracing. 1, 2, 3. Make sure we breathe. Breathe in. All right, so that's a regression of a movement. Now we're gonna progress it. Have a little look down at your feet before you begin. You always, sometimes if you don't look down, you might have 1 foot here or 1 foot turned in slightward. So have a little glimpse down, make sure your foot in the right position. So setup is essential. And then stability of the pelvis, stability of the hips, brace the core, off we go. Deep breath in on the way down. Okay, so let's progress it again. Now we're gonna progress it, we're gonna lose the bench. All right, we're gonna have a little look down at our feet. All right, we're looking to maintain upright position. Suck the air in on the way down. 3 seconds eccentric. Now, another thing you want to think about when you're doing goblet squat, range of motion is essential. Obviously for me, I like the person that's training to go a little bit deeper than parallel, ideally. Not to the point where you get that butt wink at the bottom. What a butt wink is where the lower back sinks and rounds in the bottom position. We don't want that. Ideally, we want you to stop just above that position. Now, if you have a tendency when you squat, front squat, back squat, Goblet squat. If your tendency is to lean forward, then what we might need here is to mechanically change the movement. What do I mean? So we might need to put some heels underneath your heel, or sorry, some plates underneath your heels. So this way you can maintain upright position without you leaning forward. So remember, I'm designed to squat. You may have issues squatting. If you have issues squatting, then you might need a little bit of a lift in your heels. So you can have some squatting shoes, or you can put some 10-pound plates underneath your heels. So that way you can maintain that upright position, okay? So play around with the mechanics, that's the key. When you squat, barbell, front squat, hack squat, think about this. Your knees are gonna track out towards your pinky toes on the way down. So what you're doing with your feet is you're trying to suck the ground with your toes, so you get that natural arch in your feet, and then you're gonna eccentrically descend down on 3 seconds while allowing the knees to come out laterally towards the pinky toes. This is a very safe position to be in for squats or any type of squatting variation. So inversion of the heel, you got the arches of the feet elevated, and you're gripping the ground with your feet, and then the knees are coming out laterally. Another thing you want to think about as well, big tip, just came to me. When you're squatting, if a hurricane came through the gym, there's no freaking way you'd be able to be blown over by the hurricane. You're just sucked into the floor. It's like your feet are nailed to the floor. You're not going anywhere. So before you start your squat and you get that stability, think of that analogy. Think of a hurricane coming through the gym, and it's not gonna blow you up, blow you over. If someone's trying to push you over, you couldn't move. That's the secret to squatting, is stability. The more locked in you are, the more you're bracing here, the more stability you have in the hips, the more you're gonna get a better set and better repetitions, and you're gonna be able to get more bang for your buck in your training. Okay, what we're gonna do now is, this is kind of an exercise now. We're gonna help you maintain upright position, because the tendency with a lot of taller guys who have longer levers, you're gonna lean forward, right? So maybe this adjustment of the ankle with some heel elevation could maybe help you maintain upright position. So before you put the plates on the ground, make sure that the plates are in the right position. I'm a stickler for this. I'm like, every detail needs to be accounted for. So I wanna make sure that the plates are in a straight line. I'm always doing this in between sets. I'm obsessed with setup. So I wanna make sure everything's in a straight line. That looks pretty good for me. So before I even grab the weight, I'm gonna get in the right position, and I'm just gonna play around with the exercise. So it's key here not to have too much heel elevation and too less elevation. So usually round in the middle is where you wanna be. So think about that term again. When you jump, that's a good squatting pattern. All right, so let's mimic that. All right, so set up, stability, initiate. I'm not gonna use the weight yet. So I'm gonna allow the knees to travel out to the pinky toe. Core is braced, suck the air in on the way down. Eccentric 3. 1, 2, 3. This is fine. The knees coming over the toes is fine. Don't worry about that, okay? It's a problem when you go down and then you bounce from the bottom. That's an issue on the knees. If the eccentric's controlled and smooth, and the knees are coming out laterally, you're good as gold, as we say in England. Good as gold, governor. Brace the core. 1, 2, 3. Boom. 1, 2, 3. Boom. No lockout. I want constant tension here, man. 2, 3. All right, let's do a progression. Have a little look down at the feet before you start. Set up, stability of the hips. Initiate, brace the core, suck the air in on the way down. First rep's the key. Can't get blown over. The hurricane's coming through the gym. You cannot get blown over. Every rep counts. Every rep, make them count. 1, 2. Make a lightweight feel heavy. Lock it in. And another thing you can do, if you're good with that and it feels good, and you want to add a little bit more stress to the muscle and place more tension on the muscle, what you can do with load, come down on 3, come up halfway, pause, back down, all the way up. That's 1 rep. That's a little governor secret or a governor high intensity protocol that you can do. If you've got any discrepancies, lower back, knee issues, and you can't go heavy, make the actual rep harder by placing more tension on it, by doing a half rep followed by a full rep, and that will equal 1 rep governor. So, another secret about squatting, whether it be hack squat, front squat, back squat. When you're in that bottom position, think about doing or mimicking a leg extension in that bottom position. So what do I mean? So when you're in that bottom position, mimic a leg extension. So as you're about to extend the leg in that leg extension position, watch what's gonna happen to the fibers as you do that on every rep. Yeah, it's gonna mean that you're gonna have to go a little bit lighter. Who cares about what the weight is? You're not trying to beat anybody. You're not trying to impress anybody. Who gives a shit? Excuse my French. So think about this. Bottom position, every single rep, initiate the leg extension. So as you're about to start that leg extension, think of that in your mind's eye when you're in that bottom position. Leg extension. See, watch. Leg extension, push. And then watch what happens to the upper quad.